In this part of the lesson, we're going to take some of these same derivative expressions, but then we're going to evaluate them. In this first one, part A, we're going to evaluate at x equals 2. But first, let's review this. The derivative using Lagrange notation, this is going to be f prime of x plus 3 times g prime of x. Great. Now we need to evaluate that at x equals 2. One way we can express that is to say f of x plus 3, g of x prime, but then I'll put a slash and I'm say we're going to evaluate that at x equals 2. So this is going to come out to be f prime of 2 plus 3g prime of 2. And then I use a chart above to figure out what these values are. F prime of 2, for example, is going to be 3. And then we'll add to that 3 times g prime of 2. And g prime of 2 is negative 1. And so that comes out to be 0. For part B, let's first find the derivative expression. And so this is the chain rule. F prime of stuff, f prime of g of x, times the derivative of stuff, g prime of x. So now we'll express this, and we'll get ready to evaluate it. So we'll say prime, and then I'll say slash x equals 2. So this is going to end up f prime of g of 2 times g prime of 2. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to find is g of 2. And g of 2 is equal to 6. The other thing I'm going to find here is g prime of 2. And g prime of 2 is equal to negative 1. So this is going to be f prime of 6 times a negative 1. And now I compute f prime at 6. F prime at 6, let's see, is a half. So we have 1/2 times negative 1, or simply negative 1/2. In part C, I'm going to encourage you to try this on your own. Maybe press pause, work it all out. You're going to find the derivative expression, and then evaluate at x equals 2. And then you can come back and follow it along. Or maybe you'll watch me here do the derivative expression, which we've done before, but just to repeat. So it's f prime of 2x minus g of h of x times the derivative of stuff. We have two parts here. Derivative of that is 2 minus g prime of little stuff times the derivative of little stuff. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to try to do this using the chart. Take your time on it. I tend to move quickly in the videos, but take your time and see if you can figure this out at x equals 2. Okay, here I go. Hopefully you've done this already. All right. The answer is negative 13, by the way. So you've got that, you can move on. You got it down. This is going to be f prime of 2 times 2 is 4 minus g of h of 2 times 2 minus g prime of h of 2 times h prime of 2. Okay. F prime of 4 minus g of, now I got to figure h of 2. H of 2, according to my chart, is 0, times 2 minus g prime of h of 2. We said that is 0. H prime of 2, I'll look at my chart, and that looks like that'll be 4. F prime of, then I have 4 minus g of 0. What is g of 0? G of 0 is negative 2. So 4 minus a negative 2. 2 minus g prime of 0 is 7. So 7 times 4. Okay, now I'm scrolling down. F prime of 6 times, now order of operations, this is 28. 2 minus 28 is negative 26. f prime of 6, let's see my chart, f prime of 6 is 1/2. So 1/2 times a negative 26 comes out to be negative 13. Booyah. Now there are 2 more examples that you can try that come from the notes packet. I would like you to try those independently, and then I will post the answers where you find the homework solutions.